Now, so good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever the part of the world you are. I'm in India, so I'm proud to be a part of Azure Developer Community Bangalore chapter. I'm the co-organizer along with the two of those other co-organizers, Poonam and other persons. I'm actually blessed to be a part of this community because there's a huge amount of support that we are getting, and I think probably this is one of the community that we are focusing on both the tier 1, tier 2, and even tier 3 cities. If you go to this pop-up which we have given, the Azure Developer Community azdev.confab.com, here we have listed all the chapters that are part of this program. In this program, we are basically trying to just achieve something called as an empowerment of the community, where we are just not trying to just focus on people that we need for the webinar, but we are trying to focus on empowering every person. Meanwhile, there is a meetup group called as Azure Developer Community Bangalore chapter. So I'll share the link in the comment section here, so you guys can be there. I'm the co-organizer here, and we are coming out with events on Azure functions. Just like this, we are also coming out with events on Azure Kubernetes services, containers, and also static websites, and lot more. So yeah, let's just start with our session now. So let me just say, everything is dependent on the database system today, and everything was always dependent on the cloud, and even today it's dependent on the cloud. But what's the difference is, engineers need not have to worry about what's the server side complexity that I should be dealing with, what should be my optimization that I should be delivering in order to just utilize the complete set of hardware that is there in my hand. Or else, what about the software patching? Patching means how can I really debug my system? Everything was done on premises during, I think probably, if I ask any developer who is like 15 years in the industry, he literally says that we were just going inside the room which had the server, we used to patch it there. So then the VM came in, all the past layers. So the journey from being monolithic to service oriented architecture, then the microservices, then going to the serverless. This is the phase in which the evolution really happened. Engineers now need not have to worry whether their software is up to date, or else need not have to worry whether the server is being optimized. Of course, there are services like Azure, which is just going to help you in just framing out these issues solved, because they know how to ask the right questions. So Azure Function is a part of the serverless attributes that we will be talking about. This is a very potential tool. It can be used in an IoT. It can basically be called through an API, can be deployed even on an edge device, and you can still have the streams and streams of data which will be coming out. So let's just hop in, people. So when you go to Cosmos DB, yes, a system has to stand on a Cosmos DB. It's actually a database which is a NoSQL kind of a database, where you don't have the complexity of dealing with what should be the patching that I need to do, what should be the server side language that I need to be proficient with. You just have to just focus on your business subject, or else your business problem statement. You need not have to worry on what should be done. So Cosmos DB is giving a huge support on different APIs. There is MongoDB, which is missing here. Sorry for that. So it's here. Sorry for that. Gemini, Cassandra, SQL, and basically it's a NoSQL, but it has reduced the complexity of it. So we'll not be covering in detail about it, but this is one of the crucial part of it. Azure Functions, this thing really brought the complexity to just these block diagrams that I'm showing here. It's just code, the event, the data, and now there'll be a serverless compute which will have the functions derived. So it's even less complicated than that if you know how to embed the code and the event in the data. So that's how Azure Functions came up. So when you think of similar structure of other monolithic or the microservices. Of course, these are one of the concepts which have been derived from the microservices, but yes, the complexity has been decreased by this function here. So you need not have to worry about what should be my actual code that I'll be running. So it supports all the frameworks that is supportable from this. So it's flexible at the end of the day. So as told, there can be an input from the Cosmos DB, there can be a storage queues. Storage queues can be like you are sending a message, or else you are having an interpreter where it's just taking in real-time data. So how queues can be the one where you can be using it. So triggers will be there. We'll be discussing more of it in the further slides. So let's just move on then. So agenda of today's event is basically we are covering what is an Azure function, what are their features and the actual potentials of it, plus a demo and a simple starter, which is actually available in the Azure itself. So let's talk bits which follow through the computer. Batch processing is now gone, almost gone, because nobody wants to get into the complexity of storing the data and then processing it. So it's seriously gone. So when you think of something like this, when you think of something like this, there is a huge complexity involved when it comes to the server side aspects. So you need not have to worry in the real time saying that how is my presentation going to be, or else how is my layers on which where I'll be trying to solve my problem statements be. It's none of your headache to take. So you're paying cloud provider that you need all these features in your layers of oh, I'm not sharing my screen. How come? Oh, got it. Sorry for it, folks. Yes, then I can share this, present the screen. I can go to this. Yes, there was a complexity there. So Chrome tabs, yes. So batch processing is now gone. So streams of data is coming up. So it's going to be a new friend. Streaming data is actually a continuously generated by different sources. Such data should be processed incredibly very fast. It's like every second you might be getting close to 100 requests. Bare minimum, it can reach up to millions. So now what is an Azure function? It's a serverless compute service that lets you run an entire architecture of your code base without actually considering the complexity of what your server is all about. So when you look at it, Azure function allows you to run small pieces of code called as functions without worrying about the application's infrastructure. So you'll be working on where can I get a huge amount of money just by deploying an application. So that's how it is. So managing server, we don't want it, but serverless, yes, for sure. Serverless doesn't mean that you will never have a server. It just says that you don't go with the complexity of dealing with the servers. So yes, it's just one solution. You just have one solution and you can really scale up any amount of application with these. I'll show you with it because I ran close to 6 functions and everything got scaled up in a different way. I just change it a little bit and you will just see that. So serverless, I said what I said. Azure function is still a serverless. When you speak of something called as in serverless, you are not dealing with the complexities of it. So choosing a language becomes a crucial part when you are in a higher level infrastructure of developing this entire application. So languages are plenty here. There is Ruby, there is Objective-C, there is C++, JavaScript, Python, Go is also, and there is also one more language which is called as a Rust. You can really choose the languages which you feel comfortable. So pay-per-use pricing model, you don't really need to pay for just hosting that entire code onto the server. Like how long does the code stays, you just have to pay that. You just have to just pay in a way that if this function is being called, if then HTTPS trigger has been called. I'll explain that in the future slides. You just have to go pay for the use. How much of functions you have run, how many functions has been called, or else the time span in which you have been running this. So that's where you'll be using it. So pay-per-use pricing model has been deployed. You can bring your own dependencies. It's just like your Bible. Trust me. NPM model is there. You can get a .NET SDK, which is 3.1, an LTS version of it. I prefer that. There are a lot of versions which are coming up. So you can get your own. So integrated security. You really need not have to worry about what should be your entire code base that you will be looking for, about how secure will be my code, what if there is an overload that is happening. You need not have to worry about it. Azure takes care of it. So now it's just simplified integration. You just call APIs, you just call the APIs from the program, and you're done with it. It can be a JSON call. Yes, it can be a JSON call, or else can be an trigger functions, or else can be a Azure blob function. Blob is basically binary large objects. So anything, it's very simplified according to the user's requirement. So it's just like API, and you are just calling it. So flexible development, that's for sure. When you're thinking of something like when you are actually writing a code in C# and you want to actually try to use the same function with an JavaScript, yes, you can really go on and deploy another application with the JavaScript. You need not have to worry about it. What can you do with Azure Function? Azure Function is a great solution for processing data in a bulk in real time if you want to. You can really store the data and you can start working with it. But in the real time, you don't really need to go through the complexity of what this function can do to me if I don't run it proper. So you don't have to worry about whether the API requires this language only to be called, or else what if my Cosmos DB goes to a faulty settings. Like there can be a chances where you can delete it. So every function will have its own fault tolerance. So it's very simple integration. So it's a system integration thing. So or else it can be deployed on edge. As I told, IoT Hub is there, Azure IoT Hub is there. You can just go there and you can start deploying it. IoT and the industrial IoT systems can also stream data through the Azure functions. So cloud computing, yes, it's huge. So it has actually reduced the complexity of your cloud. So easy, else build simple APIs and just microservices. It's simple and it's easy. You are just calling the code through a server and you're just deploying it. And every person will have the same experience. So simple API calls. That what would be. Azure gives lot of functions. There are, I think, close to 7+ functions where you can really call the different triggers. So HTTP request is one of them. So client and the server side, that's where the interaction really happens. So scheduled timer, you really can call a scheduled timer and say, okay, I want it to run on Friday morning at 9 a.m. sharp and close by 9:05, or can be like you call at 9 a.m. in the morning and stop at 10 a.m. in the morning. Anything, you can really schedule the timers. So document addition or modification, the Azure Cosmos DB and so on. You can really change it on the editor or else on the Cloud Shell. You just have to just write a command, code space ... You will be given out within Cloud Editor with all the files that you have deployed. So I'll be showing all of this. So I think this, to get your expectations right, this is basically where I'll be trying to make you all familiar with what I've learned about Azure Function and about the interface of the Azure architecture that we'll be talking all about. That's, I think, enough theory. Let's go some hands-on, so that thanks to Murugan sir, who is also part of Azure developers community, who just motivated us to use more of Azure Portal and Azure documentation to just start working. So, and also in the future, we will be needing lot and lot of resources. So when you have that, you need all these installations to be done proper, so that you don't have to worry about anything, because there are certain dependencies that you need when you are deploying a function app. So all these have been listed here. I'll just share the slide in the description. So I think it's in the edit mode. I think I'll share it afterwards. Sorry for that. And also, let me just say you some more. In future demo, we'll also talk about Postman and a hands-on demo with a project. Yes, that's for sure. We are planning for a project to be done using Azure Functions. And all these are the hyperlinks to the YouTube channel that I really referred back to, and I really just went. There is an channel from Ashivat Satpati, who is also one of our community member. He has an amazing code actually a video repository of everything that you need about Azure. So yes, you can just go there, and let's just go a little hands-on, people. So as said, you need to open your command prompt. Okay. You need to open your command prompt. I'll share my screen now. It's a little complex when you're doing all of. Yes. So it's command prompt. When you have all the dependencies that you require here being satisfied, you just have to go there and just do .NET ---- info. Sorry for it. Info, you'll get everything about it. So I'll be using .NET Core 3.1.4.0 4.7. Sorry for that. And also, if you just do func ---- version, it's for your function apps. So the CLI, which I refer to, if you have really installed it, it will be there. So I'll be using the version 3.0.3442. But basically, you can just do the simple command called as func. You'll get everything about it. ---- verbose will give you the thing. So let's just go to the code editor now, and new window. So after the installation on your bare Metal OS, so when you go there, you just have to go to the extensions here and type in Azure Tools, so that you don't have that ambiguity of not downloading some things which is not required. So when you go here, Azure Tools is there. Everything that is required for your Azure will be given here. The Docker, the Kubernetes, everything. Kubernetes is not given here. Sorry for that. So Kubernetes is an additional one where when I started doing and deployment using the Python app, that's where the Kubernetes came in. So, and also, since we are using .NET SDK, you can go to the C# here. So it's from the Microsoft. So you just go, you just need to install it. Since I've installed it, I need not have to worry on the complexity of installing it. So let me just give you some hacks to open it. So when you want to open a command prompt in your Visual Studio, you just have to press Control and your back quotes. The one which is below your escape with your tilde function, the function which has a curve like this. So when you go here, it absolutely works like your command prompt. Everything will be as good as your command prompt. You need not have to worry about anything. You just have to just move on with your proper installation setup, and you have to just do it. Okay, there is an npm package if you have installed Node.js. So if you have really installed npm, sorry for that. So npm ---- version. What's this? Oh, sorry for it. Sorry, npm.management version. It should give out. Yes, I don't know why it didn't work there, but it should really work at any given point of time. So let's just move on. There are actually three ways in which you can really start working on it. You can press Control Shift P and you get the command palette, and you can just go for Azure Function, create function. When you click on that, you will be prompted to a new folder. So you have to just create a new folder and say it as function app. So, folder name is not here. Oh, sorry for it. I didn't create it. Function app. So it's been created. I select it. So open in a new window. So that's how it starts working. So when you go there and when you just do the same command and back quotes, you will be directed to that folder. So func, if you just do that, it starts working here. So you can go here. There is an Azure extension that is been added to my VS Code. So you can go here. It's loading up now. Sorry for using 3 passes. 2 of the passes are disabled because I've used them over the reach of it. So I've already created one Azure function. So I can really go click on this tiny little thunder symbol with a green plus. I can just go and start creating my own function. So now it really asks for which one do you want to use? Which programming language do you want to use? So I use C#. I'm working on .NET Core LTS, so that's my favorite one. So you can go for as I told, there are more number of templates to just start your function. So there is an HTTPS trigger, time trigger. So queue trigger is basically when you send a message, so it will be stored in a queue, and that's where you start working. So blob trigger, binary large objects, and all these. Cosmos DB trigger. Yes, Cosmos DB will also give you a trigger if yes, there is this kind of data, or else this much amount of data is here. What should I do? So throws inside the Azure function, it starts really working. So okay, so let's just do Azure HTTPS trigger. So this is my first function now. So company.function, let's just keep it as the default ones. Until here, you can just choose function, also an admin. All these will start asking for the keys. So if you don't want to go for the complexities of it, you just have to just type in anonymous. So when you go here, there is a new function which will be formed, and when you click on it, yes, you have your own functions here. So you can just go here, start a debug session. Of course, there are packages or OmniSharp. Everything is spread. All the dependencies which is required for running this function is now getting installed. So you can't really say no for this because it's the part and process. So any questions? Where is my StreamYard? Yes, there are 40 people watching. Hey, we can use an IDE of our choice. Yes, you can use an IDE of your choice. Visual Studio Community is there, Visual Studio Code. But I am more into Visual Studio Code because I'm also a Flutter developer. I sometimes have to go for Visual Studio Code if somebody out there is using iOS. So I need to. Visual Studio Code is better for me. So yes, let's go on now. I think the dependencies, everything has been done. So determining project to resources, resource group has been allocated. As told, resource groups can be formed. As I had formed a resource group. This is just one method of framing it. By the way, I actually forgot to say this. You'll not get directly when you go on, when you just started, you won't get these things as passes. You just have to go here, sign in. There'll be a pop-up window which will say you have to sign in for the Microsoft account, and you have a Microsoft account with passes or the free trial where you can put in your credit card, get that access to the free trial for an year. So it's $200 worth. You can really work on it. So it's now for the local testing. You really need not have to go for the complexity of, okay, what if this code doesn't work? What if nothing starts working? So let's just do an local testing here. So control and click on that button will just go for, okay. So now when you see here, there has been log and this ID has been here. So HTTPS has been triggered, process to request. So let me just give you a quick intro of what this program does. So all these dependencies are basically how you import a package in your Python. You need not have to worry about it. So using is one of the keyword in the C#. That's from the Node .NET SDK, not the Node. It's the JavaScript. When we go for the JavaScript, we'll talk about the Node. So it's from the .NET SDK, and you will be getting all the dependencies that is required here. So HTTPS triggers, yes, we have actually called that, and there is a function. If there is a status form, there will be this thing which will be called, or else HTTPS function. So I'll show you how to do that also. So in your URL here, you just have to go and type name, no space, Vishwas is my name. And if there is a request called, hello Vishwas, this is HTTP triggered functions. So now let's just move on to editing this program. If you don't want to do this, you can just go here, remove this code, save it, and if you just go start one more debug session here, it'll just start, and you will be said you need to go for the same local host 7071. It's like a kind of an IP thing. File error exists after running relaunch host start. Okay, more and host start. I should have shown you that, but let's just move on now. Okay, my local is this one. So yes, I think this should start work. Oh, it didn't run. What happened? Wait. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry for it. So now let's just save this program. And let me just clear the terminal. And let me just run this program once again. No, when I just run this program, there are no major changes done. You will just see my name just coming up. Hello, Vishwas. Nothing else apart from that. So let's just go here. Type in name. Remember, this is also case sensitive. The variable which you have called here, the name will be called through the URL. So it's an HTTPS trigger. So name here and the name. What happened? Oh, I can't call the variable. So this HTTPS trigger has been personalized. I've saved this program, and yes, I think there should never be a problem. Oh, okay. Name equal. Oh, okay. So yeah, Vishwas. Yes, it worked. Yeah, I think I was typing it because this is the first time that I'm taking on Azure. So yeah, so a bit sturdy in my explanation. So this is how you do that. So there are other ways where you can just go to the Azure portal. And you can just log in, just type in the credentials here. So Azure portal, Yes, we are being sponsored by them, so we'll be getting the passes from the Azure developers community. So you can go here, type in function app. You can create your own function app here. So you can choose any of the resource groups here, and the same thing. So function name can be 123 Vishwas 1. So I think Vishwas 1 would be better. Runtime stack, you can use .NET because that's what I'll be using. So default, what I had used in the previous one will be there. Review and create. You will have one more Azure function. If you just go here, refresh this page, you'll have one more Azure function there. So yes, nothing like that. It's working fine. I think I'm sharing my screen. Yes, create. So usually it takes long time for it. So you need not have to worry about it. So in the meanwhile, let me just show you one more way of actually calling this Azure function itself. So the same thing, the control and the back tick that we can call, or else the control and the tilde function, the one which is below the escape, you can just check func is working. Cool. So you can go documents, done. So cd documents, mkdir, demo 1, 2. Yeah, I think I've already called demo 1, so I'll be good. Demo 1, 2. Yes. So I'll clear. Oh, sorry for the typo. I'll clear it. I think I need to expand this so that it's visible for all of you. So meanwhile, func init, you can just go here because this is an empty repository. There's nothing here. So now when you go and func init, everything has been created. I need not have to do anything. It's just like I've initialized the function application to be initialized on it. The same way in which we did through the command palette, the control shift P, and we called an Azure function, create a function in a similar fashion. Function init has been done, so we do not have to worry. So let me just do ls. Sorry for my typo. So ls. So when you give more host and JSON, you'll get everything about what you really want to do. So it's still taking the request. So it's the version 3.0.0, yeah, and also version 2, the logging of the application, the sampling settings, everything has been done. So basically function apps are basically on Azure. So Azure has been called here. So func new will actually give an access to a new function. So you can call, okay, what do I really want to do here? So you can go check on an HTTPS trigger, or else I can use an timer trigger here. So I can give a function demo az div. Demo az div. Yes, it's there. So now everything has been done here. So when I go here, code dot, so it comes out saying that everything has been set up here, boss. So you just need to go here, just run everything that you really require for. So all the things that I really wanted has come here. So you need not have to worry about it. So let me just show you one more quick example on the Python application. I know if we go on for it, it's still the same way in which you will be calling this entire code base. It still remains the same. Only thing is the options might change, but everything still remains the same. So okay, so this part is basically how your postman also works, so we need not have to worry about it. So let me just go debug this session. So I'll show you how this entire code repo is all about. So when you go here, so there's a function called, so launch JSON, fine. So there is a test.https which I just created. There will be test.json or any other file format that you will be seeing. So you need not have to worry about it. So let me just give you a quick intro on what's really happening here. So let me just debug this request get JSON. Yep. So let me just put a debugger sign here. Else the name is required, and if this gets called also, this will be called. So here where I'll be really calling this function. So we need not have to worry about it now. So no, it really came out in such a way we really wanted. So let me just do one thing. So let it open here. So we will after you just type something called as test.http, you need not have to worry about it. So after debugging, you will get the same URL here. So everything of the requirements has been sorted out here. So I need to close it. So yes. So let me just clear this and rerun the debug session. So yes, pip install requirements, everything has been done here. So when you just go here, send the request, it's called here. So when you just go here, send the request, when this and test. So I've called Usha ma'am here, but like it's not coming here. What's wrong with this? Okay, so I think this can't be an error for sure. So let me just do one thing. Let me just move off all the code. Connect the error connected. Okay, the port has not been configured or something. No, I have just called it here, had configuration. I need not have to do anything here. So let's just close it. Hopefully it works. It was working. So, oh man, what really happened? Oh, I've called it. The function is here. So, meanwhile, let's just check on to this. The triggers were there. What really happened? Okay, so HTTPS no module Azure functions. Oh, requests. Sorry for putting TensorFlow here. So let's just go run the session. Please save me. Okay, what's wrong with this? Okay, current file. Okay, fine. Let's just see what's the actual thing which was going on with this. Add configurations. Edit the configurations. So should come up with that. What is this? Oh man. No, this is one of the feature where you can really work on. So okay, let me just go and create one more function in it. So roll shift P. It may not have to be this error. So what really happened? Okay, save it. I'm going to save it. So it really worked during that time. Now what's happening? Let's just figure it out. Sorry for the inconvenience. This is for the C#, so I need not have to worry about it. So create Azure function create function HTTPS trigger to anonymous. So it's been covered, but like, why is it? So I'll clear it off. Oh, okay. It's been called here. So there are other ways in which you can really deploy it. So you can just, okay, I think I linked it here. So yes, so that's where the problem began. So it's been local tested. So when you just click on the function app and you just say deploy the function app, it just goes and deploys it. So you need not have to worry on, okay, what if there is some changes? If there is a changes, it's going to hot reload it. So output window, it's here. So when I go here, actually all these IDs would have different so when you go and type in each and every individual URL, there are different changes that we have really done. So I think this was the new one. Name is equals to Vishwas. I think this should be called. Yes, it's called. And there were other changes that I did for the other things. I think probably fourth or fifth. I think fourth is where I really changed the program a little bit. I think that should have worked. Yes, request body, the query string, or the same thing. So yeah, when you view the output, all the things will be available, all the packages are around it. So let's just work. So if you guys can stay, so let me just go back to that, and okay, let me just do an mkdir Python trial. Yeah, Python trial. mkdir. Sorry for it. Trial cd Python trial. So Azure, no, func in it. So I'll be creating one more Python app. So I think I had called it. So it's a Python app now. So func, new function will be created. So it still is going to be an HTTPS trigger. So I'll choose eighth function should be, ninth function is a trigger here. So just get the editor right. Choose an option here. So ninth function, HTTPS trigger selected. The function name is function Python trial. So everything is done. Code dot. So it opens a new window with all the code and everything is done here. So function Python trial. So init is there, host.json. So yes, I should have the Python extension to it. So host.json local. Yes, I think these are proper here. I need not have to worry about it. Yes, you can choose an interpreter which I've installed. You can go on and install with the Node.js package itself. So this is how the triggers get called. When you go here, start the debug process, debug currently. So yes, it automatically does that. Creating a virtual environment. Yes, that's one more key point where you really need not have to worry about what if the version goes wrong or else fail. So you can just go here and just work on it. It worked on that time, but it didn't work. Sorry for that trial. I think I'll be putting a video description afterwards in the session, after the session in my video, so that you guys can get pointed to what I was trying to show during that time. So yeah, pretty much this one, and this is how we called it. And also think we can just test on some other things that we just edited for a while. So yes, so you can go here, type in name is equals to Vishwas, I think yes, we still have the same program. So you can really call a number of programs at one function and you can really do that. That's what I really showed here. And yes, thank you so much for being in the session. And yeah, any doubts that I can see? I think Ashivad actually cleared one doubt that they had on any questions and queries run on different port or kill. Sure, I think we can do that. Clear. So yeah, any doubts that you have, any sorry for it, any questions that you have, you can just ask me. Thank you. Yeah. Where can we find the code sample? You need not have to find the code samples. It will just be created as soon as you call the functions to it. Like I can just show you, okay, mkdir new one. So I can go to new one here. Sorry for that. And you can clear it. So when you are running it, so you can basically call the function in it. So it will initialize all the dependencies that is required. And as I showed, it will be there. So localhost setting.json, everything will be done. So when you do func new, and when you say, okay, I need an HTTPS trigger here, and you give a functional 2. So everything will get created and everything will be having there as a template. So you need not have to worry about whether the code. So code can be edited on your IDE also. So you can go and just see that. You can use VS 2019. Yes, you can use it as long as you have the passes or anything like that. So you can really work on that actual process that you are trying to really want to see. Like you can work on Visual Studio Code also is perfect. You can really have that. So the only thing is you have to link the account to your IDE so it will start working. Yes, I think Indrajit Kumar, could you take an example of Java application? Sure, the similar process, you can just go here, cd. Okay, so I need to create it, mkdir new 123. I'll just do that. Oh, sorry, my typo. mkdir. So new 123. So cd new 123. You can do that, and you can go here and type func init. So you'll get everything. So you can go here, type a Java, or else you're asking about Java script also can be done. So Java can also be done. So you can go here, just type in Java. So you'll have everything here. So code dot dot will open the VS Code editor. So yeah, that's how you can really go on and get the things. So yes, I think all the dependencies will be formed here, so you need not have to worry about it. And also all the things that you have in your past will also come here. That means if you have a subscription model and you come here, you can just see. So any other things? Great session, and you have a lots of energy to share knowledge. Great job. Thank you, Vijay Kulkarni sir, for saying that. No, can we use? That's for sure. Thank you, Ashirwad Satpati. I think this is the end of the session. Any other questions? Yes, I think this is the end of the session. I think Lata, what is the stand practice in companies for Azure functions? I mean IDEs or anything. I'm not a cloud developer. I'm a Flutter developer. Sorry for that. I'm a Flutter developer. I mostly work on Android IDE. So if you ask me, there are mixed IDEs. Anybody can use any IDE. It's also supported with IntelliJS. Standard ones are VS Code Enterprise editions. If the company gives an Enterprise edition, just like how Vivek Sridhar sir asked in all his session, every session will have it. So I think I'll share some of the documents which I really studied through in the description or else in the comment section, so you guys can go in. And also there are some resources which I studied through. So read a lot of, actually I say read a lot of white papers. And actually this is actually my first cloud session, so I hope it was not that boring for you people, so that I think I didn't mess up with the presentation, but I don't know how it really got done there. So yes, these are some of the resources that I'll be commenting down here, which are actually important when me as a very bare minimum knowledge about the cloud. Of course, I'm working on Kafka certification, but like, and also when you are looking for something like that, I think these documentations really give you a great insight. So yeah, do check out those things, and I'll be putting this in the description also. So yeah, thank you folks, thank you so much for your wonderful time. And yeah, enjoy this, and also do join our community here. This is the link for our community. We are targeting each and every part of the places that we can reach: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So we are just hoping that it reaches everybody. And do share with all of your friends so that they can also, yes, thank you so much for Karthikeyan for coming. Yeah, next time I'll really do the font size increase. So do join this community. I think it's doing an amazing job. Trust me, empowerment. You just need to join this community because you are learning a lot. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you. And all the resources will be in the description. So do check out this link back.